Hi, hello, welcome to the world of zoology. Myself, Dr. Sai. My dear future medicos, today I am going to explain you about the locomotion and movement. In previous sessions, I explained the detailed evaluation of cockroach, and we have seen the skeletal system also. And now we are going to see how the muscles inside the body are present and how they are coordinated, and what are the different types of muscles and what is the structure of muscle. And in this session I am going to close all those important issues, right. Let us begin the locomotion and movement, my dear friends. See, locomotion is different, movement is different. What is locomotion and what is movement? Generally the movement of the limb, see here, now I am moving my upper limbs like this, isn't it? And now I am moving my lower jaw also, my lips are moving, my tongue is moving, my eyelids are moving, my head is nodding, I am nodding my head like this. All these are movements. But see this one, this is also movement. So the movement which causes the displacement of organism is locomotion. And this is just a movement which is not going to cause the displacement of an organism. For example, if at all I am performing dancing, that will become the locomotion. And simply, for example, after catching the mic, if I am singing a song like this, that is simply a movement. Okay, of course some singers will dance also at the time of singing, that is a different story. But any movement which causes the displacement comes under locomotion, isn't it? For example, see the boxer, how he is moving like this. So this is locomotion, and of course movement also. So all movements are not going to cause the displacement of organism, only some movements are going to cause the displacement like this. See, this is the displacement. So the movements which causes the displacement are called locomotions. That's the reason, and that's the reason why I am going to write one statement like all. Let me explain you. See, all movements are not locomotions, but vice versa is correct. But all locomotions are movements. All locomotions are movements, like that. So there are different types of locomotory organs are there in the organism. For example, if you take the human being, why we are performing the locomotion? What is the reason for performing locomotion? Generally we will perform locomotion for search of food material, or even organism also perform the locomotion in search of food material, to escape from predator, and also to catch the prey, and to have the suitable climate, to set in the search of suitable climate, and also to have suitable breeding area, and in the selection of a suitable partner or for mating. All these are the different reasons why the organisms will perform movement. See here, this is paramecium. You can see the paramecium here, and paramecium which is having the oral groove followed by cytopharynx, cytostome. All these are the structures present in paramecium, and the paramecium which is covered even by the cilia. So cilia are also important structures which helps in locomotion. In addition to that, the same cilia which are useful for locomotion also useful for driving the food material towards the mouth or towards the cytopharynx. So now the oral groove, which is in turn opens into number of other structures like cytostome, cytopharynx, cell reservoir, so many parts will be there. But the cilia helps in collection of food material, or driving or pushing the food material towards the lower parts also. So my point here is cilia not only useful for locomotion, and it is performing other function also. For example, you see the Hydra. So this is the Hydra, and here tentacles are present in the Hydra, and the function of the tentacles is to collect the food material, and also useful for movement. Somersaulting movement is exhibited by the Hydra. So the movement as well as collection of food material, these are the functions performed by the tentacles of Hydra. And the amoeba, the pseudopodia are nothing but the temporary extensions of the body, whenever or in which direction the animal wants to move, in that particular direction a temporary extension will develop, that is nothing but pseudopodia, and the pseudopodia is useful for even collection of food material also. For example, you take the limbs of human being, what is the function of limb? Generally for changing the posture we will use these limbs, and also useful for collection of the food material also. Finally, what I want to tell, by comparing all these examples I want to drive only one point: locomotory structures need not to be different from those parts which are affecting movement. I mean to say, same structure is useful for locomotion and the same structure may be useful for collection of food material or for other purposes or other functions also. So need not to be different, locomotory structures need not to be different from those parts which are affecting other parts, other functions in the human being body. I mean to say, same organ will be useful for collection of food material and the same part also useful for movement. Like that, there are different types of movements are there in the organism, and the locomotion is going to be affected by the habitat and the medium also, and the demand of situation is also going to play a crucial role. For example, if a predator is approaching towards you, imagine one snake, immediately you have seen one snake, then how you will perform the movement? Will you perform the movement like this in a stylish way? Hey, there is a snake, will you move like this? No. Immediately after seeing the snake, we will simply run away from that place, isn't it? Simply we will run. And similarly, see, this is the movement generally we will perform on the ground, on the terrestrial environment. Imagine suddenly you are dropped, or you have, imagine just you have fallen in the water. Will you move like this? Will you show the movement like this? Oh, now I am in water, so I have to move like this. Will you show the movement like this? No. We will perform the swimming, though you don't know the swimming, simply we will flicker our forelimbs and hind limbs, isn't it? So movement generally differs or varies or changes according to the demand of situation and the place of an animal, isn't it? Similarly, the deer movement also will change suddenly when it sees the tiger, like that. Movement will changes, or the locomotion will change according to the situation, demand of the situation, of course the place where the animal is living, isn't it? And there are different types of movements are there in the organism. Let me show you the different types of movements. Generally, there are different types of movements exhibited by the organism. The first one is amoeboid movement, and second one is ciliary movement, and third one is muscular movement. These are the types of movement exhibited by the organisms. Okay, and now the first one is amoeboid movement. What do you mean by amoeboid movement? Just now I have shown you the amoeba in the previous slide, isn't it? Say this one, amoeba, the temporary extension, whenever the animal wants to move, the cytoplasm will move in that particular direction, forming a temporary extension. The temporary extension is nothing but pseudopodia. Similarly, the same type of movement is also exhibited by our cells also. For example, if you take the human being, let me write amoeboid movement here. My dear friends, please don't mind, some sort of throat infection is also there, but I don't want to stop the class, so please don't mind. In the meanwhile or in the middle, intermittently I am getting some cough, okay, no issue. Amoeboid movement, that is the movement which is exhibited by the cells, macrophages, macrophages, macrophages and the leukocytes. Macrophages and leukocytes exhibit the amoeboid movement. Just for your information I am saying, imagine this is artery, divides into arteriole and divides into capillaries like this. And now imagine there is one cell here. Let me change the color just for your understanding. Imagine here there is one cell, and now do you think this cell something like macrophage or leukocyte? Leuco means white, cyte means cell, white blood cells. LUCO or LUKO, both are correct. And here this large cell, do you think this large cell can enter into this small area? Yes, definitely it can enter into this small area also. How this large cell can enter into the small area? By the streaming of cytoplasm. The cytoplasm will extend like that. For example, imagine the door was opened only partly. Though the door was opened only partly, you can go outside without opening the complete door. How? By just changing our posture like this. We will go like this, isn't it? So human being also will adjust to the place. According to the place, generally we will try to adjust, isn't it? For example, Here also I am taking the WBC, I mean macrophages or leukocytes, and the large cell can enter into the small areas also into these capillaries, and it can come out from these capillaries also through the holes which are present over the capillary. In previous sessions I explained there are three types of capillaries are present: perforated capillary, sinusoidal capillary, entire capillary, like that three types are there. But anyhow, I will once again explain at the time of circulation. And now this large cell can even comes out of the capillary also. The cells can enter into extra capillary areas also. And now the question is, how this large cell able to come out from the small capillary means by just streaming of cytoplasm. I will write the same point here, streaming. Streaming of cytoplasm is the reason how the cell will comes out from the capillary also, or it can enter into the narrow areas also. Who is going to give support? So many cytoskeletal elements are present in the prokaryotes and of course in eukaryotes, and now we are concentrating on eukaryotes. I am not going to talk about the prokaryotes now. If, for example, if you observe the microfilaments which are present in the cytoplasm, they are going to provide you or provide the cell for performing the streaming of cytoplasm. So cytoskeletal elements like microfilaments will assist. So this is a very important point in the NEAT aspect. And here amoeboid movement is exhibited by macrophages and leukocytes. That is one question. And who is going to give support to this amoeboid movement for the cell means microfilaments. This is the question which is possible in the NEAT. Let us move to the second type of movement. What is that second type of movement? Ciliary movement. Who is going to show the ciliary movement? You know the cilia. Cilia are nothing but, please wait, okay, cilia. I am going to remove this. Let us move to the next one, cilia. Ciliary movement, Ciliary. Who is going to exhibit the ciliary movement? Say for example, imagine this one is epithelium and these are all the cells, and here the cilia are present. These are cilia. Imagine this is cell. Here the cilia are present. What is the basic function of cilia, or what are the functions of cilia? Cilia are generally present in the hollow organs, tubular organs, something like in trachea. Whenever the dust particles are trapped here, the dust particles will be swept out and it will come out in the form of a sputum or phlegm, or that is nothing but a reflux disorder, I mean a reflux condition, cough. So the dust particle will swept out, the dust particle will generally come out because of having the cilia. See, the cilia will move like this. That is the reason why we will get the dust particle. That is the reason when the dust particle enter, we will get the cough. This is one of the reasons. One of the reason for getting cough. That is not only the reason for getting cough. See here, and now this cough is different. And the dust particles which were accumulated here will be simply swept outside in the form of a cough. That is the function of cilia. And the cilia are also present inside the lining of the fallopian tubes in case of the female. I will explain that at the time of reproductive system. The fallopian tubes are present here. Imagine myself as an uterus and my two hands as the fallopian tubes like this. So inside the fallopian tubes also the cilia are present. The function of the cilia, see the cilia are flickering, the cilia are showing the movement like this. Wow, great movement will be there. So the cilia, the function of cilia is to move the secondary oocyte towards the uterus. Secondary oocyte which is released at the time of ovulation. From the ovary, secondary oocyte will comes out at the time of ovulation, and that secondary oocyte will be taken by the finger-like structures present in the fallopian tube. And now, how that ball-like structure secondary oocyte is able to move because of having the cilia. Okay, these are all the functions of cilia. So the function of cilia is to move the content towards one direction. That is another type of movement seen even in human beings. Third one is muscular movement. You are quite aware. See, now I am moving my tongue, intrinsic muscles and extrinsic muscles, two sets of muscles are present in the tongue. Anyhow, the tongue is also made with skeletal muscles. Three types of muscles are present that I will explain later. Any movement inside the body, if it is because of muscle, it is called muscular movement. For example, say the movement of the forelimbs and the movement of hind limbs and the movement and the twisting and all these rotations. See, this is rotation. I will tell the different types of movements in the next video, like adduction, abduction, circumduction, supination, pronation, I will explain all these movements. Okay, so all these movements, see, this is also a type of movement. Say, I am not performing any dancing. This is also a type of movement. Okay, and this is also movement, and we are moving the forelimbs and hind limbs. All these are because of the muscles, and the tongue movement is also because of muscle. These are the types of movements in the human being body. And now I am going to explain the structure of muscle in the next video. Thank you.